What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie, where we believe an experience becomes truth. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and joining me now in studio is the one and only world-renowned psychic, Eddie Connor.
Thanks, Tony, and hi, everybody. Today we have an amazing author joining the show. She's also a spiritual messenger here to talk about her new book, Lessons from the 12 Archangels. It's about divine intervention in daily life.
It's going to be a great time, Eddie. Belinda explains that everyone has fear and hurt from our past that we don't know how to transform into the healing and empowerment. But Belinda is here to share how we can create that change.
It's going to be fun because Belinda's also created a powerful guide to open your life to the wisdom and healing of the angels, as well as their love for us. Now, Tony, that's only the beginning. It gets better through her channeling as she shares 48 specific messages from the angels, something we can't wait to hear about, and we know your audience can't either. So please put your hands together and welcome author and spiritual messenger Belinda Womack.
Hi, Belinda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We are wonderful, and we are even better now that you're here with us. We have been trying to get you on for a while, and we're glad. We actually were going to book her during the Mercury retrograde.
Oh.
And we were like, yeah, maybe we'll wait till it's over. Yeah, you know how things can happen. So, but we are glad you're here. We're glad to talk about your, years of research and your journey on getting to this point, and talking about your book, 12 Archangels, Divine Intervention in Daily Life. So, Eddie, go ahead and you take over.
Oh, awesome. So the first question I have for you, Belinda, is I'm curious. I'm a writer myself, and I've had certain things I've been working on for, my goodness, like 15 years. Don't tell nobody, it's awful. And some things I can turn around in a matter of a month and get the material out. I'm curious, how long did it take you to compile the material for this new book?
Well, this new book is a new version, a recreation of a book that I actually wrote about 19 years ago called The Angel's Guide. And it's, to make a long story short, the original version disappeared. I had a dream that there would be a second publishing, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't realize it was going to be 20 years later. And so I completely rewrote with the angels the original manuscript, and they expanded it. They answered a lot of questions that they had left open in the first version, which angels will do. As we evolve, we are then ready for more truth and more information. So overall, when I rewrote the manuscript a second time, it was 1 year of very concentrated work. And so, it was a lot of work and a lot of patience.
Was that 1 month per archangel?
It could have been. It could have been. That's funny.
And will you help the audience understand the difference between, and the question is for you, it's this first. Are you a channeler of the information or a trance channel? I think the word might be conscious channel or trance channel. And will you help the audience understand the difference between the two?
Sure. So I'm a spiritual messenger. So that means that I remain completely present, and I do not go into a trance. The information from the angels, it flows in through my intuition, and I feel it. And gosh, how do I explain this? It comes through with such a clear vibration. And if it's not clear, if it's not from the angels, I feel very contracted. And so that's how I know. So the difference between what I do and a trance channeler is that a trance channeler goes into a trance. They often do not remember what has happened, and they may need someone to record what comes through. So when I channel the archangels verbally, which I'm happy to do for your audience, I may or may not remember for verbatim exactly what they say. And that's not because I'm not present. It's because I'm just kind of lifted to where their vibration is, which is heaven. And heaven is a place where there is no fear. Here on earth, we know we've got all this wonderful fear to learn from. That is our master teacher here on this plane. So I channel the angels both in writing and as a group, I can do that verbally.
Well,
and their energy too, of course.
Well, I have a question. This is Tony, and I want to know that, like Eddie always said, he learned at a young age that he was psychic, but he kind of pushed it down and didn't really address it until later. What was it like as a child for you? Was this something that the gift was kind of showing at an early age or later age?
Well, I definitely had gifts when I was a little child, and I could see angels, and I could see ghosts, and I could, see things about people, and I was super, super sensitive, especially to the feelings and emotional story of what was going on with people. But my story is reverse from Eddie. When I turned about 11, 12, I said, you know what, I want to be a biologist, and all of this super sensitive stuff and seeing, all these beings around me, I'm just going to shut that down. So I actually felt a big door close in my head. And it didn't open up until Archangel Gabriel appeared to me when I was working as a cell biologist, and I was drafted by the 12 archangels.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I was a super sensitive kid.
Wow. And it's being sensitive is a tough gig.
I hear ya.
It's hard. Being sensitive and being a psychic knower. We all know people who think they know everything, but being a psychic knower and a sensitive kid, it's really hard sometimes for me to differentiate when I was growing up between what was my stuff and what was other people's stuff. Did you have that experience?
Well, I just thought everything was my fault, Eddie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you and Tony experienced that, but when you can feel the sadness and the grief and the despair in people, and when I was a kid, I just cried all the time. It was like,
I did too.
Well, what did I do wrong? How did I, make it a thunderstorm today when we needed sun? I mean, it was that intense for me.
Wow, and it makes it's one of those things when children are telepathic and then sensitive and then and psychic and intuitive, and they know what they know that they know, it really is because our little brains as children are not developed enough, mature enough to differentiate between anybody else's thoughts, feelings, and frequencies and our own. So that leads me to want to ask you this question. Were you a nature lover and an animal lover? Was that your escape away from people's butch-addicted feelings?
Well, so I just got covered with, goosebumps. So of course, that was my sanctuary.
Yeah.
Give me the trees, give me my dogs and kitty cats that I just loved to be with because they knew how to love.
Yes.
They know how to love those fur angels.
Wow. And it is so much fun. I had a St. Bernard growing up. It wasn't mine. It was my mama's, but secretly it was mine, okay? And her name was Lady, and she's the first being that I told about my psychic abilities. And I would just, she was telepathic. I mean, she would just talk right back too. And like we would go, and after I got all the yard work done, I don't know why I keep doing that, air quotes for the archangels. After we finished doing all the yard work and the housework, and then we could actually go play, I would we'd go down by the creek, and we would just like lay in the sun or under the trees if it wasn't so hot. And I would just lay on Lady's stomach, or she would put her head in my lap, and I would just tell her all the stuff that had happened that I knew she was never going to say anything ugly or derogatory like the humans were doing. And then you're there at the creek with your feet in the water, and then the trees are there. It was my sanctuary. I totally relate to that. And which
It's
leads
a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can tell you my little Belinda is always grateful to hear these stories, because I'm like, wow, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone.
yeah. And so what are your intuitive strengths? I'm more of a seer and a hearer. That's my predominant strength. I'm curious to know what your psychic strengths are, and the part of your strength that you use to conscious channel as a spiritual messenger of the archangels.
I would say that of the clairs, that I definitely rely most on clair gnosis, knowing, and sentience, feeling. And I am clairvoyant, but I've learned that what is the most trustworthy is when you just know it and you feel it, and it radiates out through my whole body. So, but I guess where I really have focused that giftedness, or where it's focused through me, is in solving problems. That's what I really love to do, is to help people who have been struggling in patterns that just continue to repeat over and over and over. They feel locked into that same old story and they don't know how to get out. And that's where I love to bring in the angels and the clients' guides and loved ones and their higher self and their wounded child, and get into their DNA, wherever we've got to go to unravel and get to the root of, hey, guess what? We create our own reality here on the earth, and this is what's in you that's creating this story that you no longer want to be the main character in. So
yeah, take us back in time to the first time you heard and then felt the truth in the fact that we create our own realities. Take us back to that moment you had that experience.
what lifetime is that, Eddie?
Good answer.
That's just like something that I've just always known, but let me explain. So 25 years ago, I was working in a cell biology lab, working on a bone marrow sample, preparing for a stem cell experiment. And I call it my out of laboratory experience. I found myself in a stone room that was round, and a golden white light was pouring in. And here was the Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel spoke to me telepathically and said, Belinda, your work is going to change. We need you to help human beings to remember their divinity, to remember they are God's divine children. And so from that first experience with Gabriel that just totally shook my whole body, that's when I started to remember all the things that they needed me to remember, and I started to learn the things that the angels needed me to learn. And the key lesson is we create just like the creator. We create with our thoughts and with our feelings. But very often, 90% of that creating is happening in our subconscious.
Yes.
So we don't even know. We can feel so powerless. Why does this keep happening to me? And we can feel victimized. And that's again where, whether it's our own intuition or we have someone to help us to get to the root of, well, what is that old belief system, or where is that old anger stuck in our bodies, so that we can transform it with love and we can be free of it. And guess what? Our lives change immediately, because we are dreaming our lives into being every moment of our existence.
All of the great spiritual messengers, all of the great channelers, if you will, say the exact same thing, in that when I asked that simple question, when did you wake up to the fact that we create our own realities? And your answer is which lifetime? And all of the great healers too will keep saying these things subconsciously go back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime until we heal them consciously and subconsciously in this lifetime.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. And so what the 12 archangels teach is it helps so much to love transformation, to be that alchemist and just, enjoy the discovery and to discover those limiting beliefs or lower vibration feelings, and to do that with love and a sense of enthusiasm. Because whatever we transform, because we're all one, we help the whole human community, the whole family, the whole human body that we are each and every one of us a part of.
And you're so humble.
Yeah,
you
you
are
can
so
tell.
grounded in your heart chakra, and you're so balanced, and you're very humble. And coming from that perspective, meaning being that person that you are as a humble being, when you first started receiving guidance from the archangels, were you kind of like, who the heck do I think I am? Or did you just go like, bring it, y'all?
It was a combination, right?
Yeah.
It was, I've gone crazy.
Yeah.
This is over the top. What's going on? And, but there's this amazing thing about truth. And I love the, name of your show, Truth Be Told, because it makes common sense. So to my scientist brain, it was like, but this is truth, and it makes common sense. So I can't be crazy. And, I would connect with the divine child within me, my inner child. That's how I really feel things. And I remembered, well, I had all this as a kid. Yeah. So, when you start to connect the dots, it's like, okay, this makes sense. It makes sense. So it was totally overwhelming. At the same time, I was so excited. It's like, wow, this is the world that I want to walk in. I walk in this earth plane because I can help people with this. And that's what really feeds my soul is and I don't mean to get emotional, but I just love to help people.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to ask you and Eddie, because I don't read. I'm not a reader. I like
Eddie. Mean books or people?
Either one. But Eddie, when you do your readings, and Belinda, when you do your readings, just for us common folk that really don't know, I mean, I know a lot more since I've been around Eddie, but when you read, are they both from the angel world, or is it from a different place that you're getting your information than Belinda getting her information?
Well, that's a great question. Whenever I do, and I'm sure you do this too, Belinda, I always start every reading with an opening prayer. And I'll call on the guides, angels, teachers, loved ones, and my higher self to be present and assist during every aspect of the reading. And then I'll call on the archangels and the oversouls and the council of elders, etc., and open the doorway from the fifth dimension of love and light and beyond. I, to be honest with you, I have no idea which being of light is communicating with me. It could be a deceased loved one. It could be an angel. It could be a master teacher. And once in a while, though, one specific will stand out among the others, just sort of holding the space. But I couldn't tell you specifically which and who was the one coming through in my readings for clients. How about you, Belinda?
Well, it's the same. They work as a committee. Yeah. Each of us, we have a committee of guides and angels and ascended masters that work with us and that are our counselors, and they move and they flow and they blend. But I just want to make a point about what you're saying, Eddie, and for Tony as well. Truth comes in as a vibration. And when you are a messenger of the truth, you just bring it through. So it's like here on earth, we're just like, whoa, so who's the celebrity and, who do I get to see on TV? But boy, when you're just bringing in the truth to help others, you just step out, you step aside. you step aside, and it feels awesome. It's a great vibration.
It is,
right?
yeah, it's a great vibration, and that's the universe. That's how the universe communicates with us, is via vibration, feelings, frequencies, and that sort of thing. And I love that sentence. I'm going to paraphrase it. Truth has a frequency. Truth is a vibration in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about being human is, when I first started this work, I can't wait to see what you say about it. When I first started this work as an adult, see, there I go with air quotes. What's wrong with me?
You want me to
Yeah,
slap
just
it
reach
every
over,
time?
smack me after the show, please. Is whenever I, as an adult, would do sessions for people, I would try to, I wasn't in my head, but I wanted to do a good job. I wasn't in my head, but I was wondering what they were going to say to the client. I wasn't in my head, and I was in my head, but a lot in the very first year or two. Then after that, it's like I ask them what they want to talk about, and I get quiet. I say the prayer, and I get me out of my way, my brain, and drop down into that heart truth that you speak so eloquently about. And I would love to know how you transitioned, if you ever went through that left brain part of it when you first started as a spiritual messenger.
For me, Eddie, it's more like after the session. It's that when the angels come through, I think because there's just so much love, and it's just shooting through, that that there's no way for Belinda to get in the way, because it's sort of like thinking of Niagara Falls, and that we're a little canoe, and so the falls are just going to move that canoe over to the bank.
Yeah.
And so it would be after the session that, wow, how was that received? Or how were they able to accept it? And the angels came through and they said, we need you to think of yourself as the FedEx man. And not that there can't be FedEx women, but your job is you deliver the package to the door. You are not responsible for whether or not the person opens the door to receive the package, whether or not they open the package, they like what's in the package, whether or not they want to return the package. Your job is to do as we guide you to do. You deliver the message. And that's what you're asked to do. And so that's been really helpful.
I love that. And, because we're sensitive people, in all the years that I've done sessions, I've only had 2 people who just, they wanted to be so happy. They wanted to be happy. They wanted to be happy, but they just couldn't get themselves to that place. And I know it's not my responsibility to open the package for them and explain everything in it, because the package in and of itself is the essence of non-physical, personified, and unconditional love. But twice maybe in the last 18 months, meaning in the last 25 years of doing sessions, there's been 2 people that just wanted to throw the package in the road and run over it and back over it and make it not their part of the responsibility with it. Have you had that experience before? And when you work with your council of archangels, I'm curious what information and guidance they gave you, Belinda, on that.
I don't know if to be totally truthful with you, if I've ever had someone out and out reject a message that I have been privileged to deliver from their committee. And perhaps, Eddie, it's because if I feel resistance from that individual, I will feel that in my own body. And then I just say, the angels will actually ask me to say, if you don't like it, we ask that you put it on a shelf. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Put it on a shelf, because we're only going to deliver the truth, but that doesn't mean that you might not be ready for that. So put it on the shelf, and then you can walk away forever. But there may come a time when you're ready to go to that shelf and pull that book or that message off and say, now let me look at this again.
I love that. What I've been doing with this particular person, they came sometime last year, and then they're upset now about it. And I just keep sending them light. And I can't stress, for me personally, the power of light, Light. I love it when you don't know what to do and your hurt feelings get in the way, and then sometimes a little irritation gets in the way. For me, when I send light, it helps me feel better about it from the inside out. What's your philosophy on light, Belinda?
Well, absolutely. I may use a different word sometimes for light. I might call it love energy or light and sound, or divine love, you know, energy from the creator. It all means the light with a capital L, which means love. And Eddie, one thing that that you might try, and I'm not saying you don't do this, but because we are all one, and we have a world right now where so many people are rejecting parts of themselves, and so then that's why in another state or another city, someone else has a gun and is destroying human beings. What we can do as healers to help this world is just to say, okay, any self inside of me that feels rejected, that feels angry, that feels like I don't belong here on this planet, or that nobody wants me, I ask that you just exit out. I'm going to ask that you get on the violet fire train. Violet fire meaning that energy in our crown chakra that transforms fear into love. It's the energy of forgiveness. Just enjoy that violet fire train, go back to the creator and fill up with love. And then, so we let those angry and hurting and rejected selves free from our vessel. We fill up with light and love. And that's what we can do to help all of humanity, because we are all one. So it's just another way that we can remember how we can help those clients that are most resistant.
I love that.
They're inside of us all the time.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Belinda, that was beautiful, and that actually brings up a subject that I think some of us might be interested in, that, with everything going on in the world, with the tragedy in Orlando and stuff, does the Archangels come to you more often when a tragedy happens in the world, or is it pretty much consistent in any time of the year?
It's definitely consistent. They're my best friends, and I'm sure that that's true for Eddie. Our team of helpers, they eat with us, they sleep with us, they're our best friends.
Yeah.
They're our family, and that's because a healer is always on call. Even if we're sound asleep at night,
right,
we're still working somewhere, and that's just the way it goes.
Wow.
Such a beautiful. This is great. I'm loving this conversation. So.
Yeah, I am too. And if you're just tuning in, everybody, you're listening to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Tony Sweet.
And we have Belinda Womack with us. She's talking about her book, Lessons from the 12 Archangels, which is about divine intervention in daily life. Now, when we come back from our commercial break, what we're going to ask Belinda to do with us is tell us who the Archangels are, the 12 that she's working with.
Excited.
I know. And tell us a little brief description of that which they facilitate for us on the earth plane. And if you're open to it, Belinda, we would love for you to do some of your spiritual messenger work with Tony and I here, so we can get the message out to everybody around the world here on Truth Be Told.
Great.
Awesome. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do you suffer from anxiety, from depression, maybe even chronic pain? Well, listen up. Truth Be Told is going to tell you about a breakthrough program built on over 100 years of therapies used in America's returning veterans to help you successfully overcome PTSD, anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. The secret proven in study after study. Music therapy. The effects of music are nothing short of amazing. From strokes to PTSD, music has been shown to improve the quality of life. Now, one of the latest music therapy programs being used in America's veteran hospitals can be yours to experience for free at home and to help your own anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. Or just relax after a hard day. It's called Whole Tones. It takes music therapy to a new level. This revolutionary program makes use of specifically designed frequencies that have been shown to stimulate your body's natural healing power down to a cellular level. If it works for battle-scarred vets, can it work for you? Well, experience it for yourself for free at sweetwholetones.com. Like Tony Sweet, that's SWEET. Go to sweetwholetones.com. Now enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I am not Tony Sweet.
And I'm not Eddie Connor.
That's right. We have with us the famed Belinda Womack. She's here talking about her book, Lessons from the 12 Archangels, and it's about divine intervention in daily life. Now, before we went to commercial break, she was sharing with us all of these wonderful techniques that we can use to continue to stay connected to oneness. And now we want to ask you, Belinda, about the 12 archangels you work with. And if you would just sort of tell us their names and what faculties they bring to the earth plane for us.
So I'm not allowed to tell you their names. Before you stop the show, let me explain
We're
why.
out of here.
Thank you.
The number 12 is a metaphor. It means a cycle, and it's about evolution. That's why we have 12 signs of the zodiac, and we have 12 months of the year. The number 12 is a great number, and it has the number 1 of the consciousness and of the soul, and the number 2 of the partnership and of so the masculine and the feminine that comes together to create the number 3. 1 plus 2 is 3, which is the number of creation and creativity and of the child. So the 12 archangels work together as a committee and as a community and as a team. Are there just 12 of them? Likely not, because their number is like music. It expands, just like when we want to increase the volume on beautiful music, angels just increase their number. So one of the things that I want to say to help ground the 12 archangels is that they do support us through astrological cycles. So, for example, one of the names of the Archangel Gabriel that I get to share the names of what they call the celebrity angels. So, Archangel Gabriel is the same energy as the planet Mercury, and of course, that's the energy of communication, and that helps to learn how to think in new ways. Where Archangel Michael, the Archangel of truth and awareness and courage, is the same as Saturn, which many of us are like, oh no, not Saturn. But Saturn, who is also known as the Lord of Karma, and none of this material is in the book, by the way. This is just some extra tidbits on how these angels work. Saturn is the planet that shows us what we no longer need. And that's how we human beings figure out our truth, oftentimes by getting what we don't want and then going, oh yeah, I don't want that. And that's the role of Saturn. So the reason that they don't share their names is not at all because they don't want us to know their names. I have certain names that I call them by. It's because their names are different depending on how far back you go. You know, these same angels are connected to the most ancient wisdom that has ever been experienced by human beings on this planet, whether that's ancient wisdom from Egypt or the ancient wisdom of the Hebrews. It's just, and I want to share that I didn't even know that. When I met the 12 archangels, they showed up as a ring of beautiful colors surrounding me, and they said, you know, here again, you've been drafted and this is what you're going to do. And it's now so many years later, actually from being interviewed, that I've learned, oh, well, their teaching is, well, the ancient Egyptians taught that, or, well, it's over here in this book, because the angels never allowed me to read or study anything. They said, nope, you're going to bring it in from scratch, and you're going to bring it in we work as a community. And that's just our rules. And so those are the rules that I follow. So I just want to say to your audience that just please remember that all you have to do is call on the angels. Whether they don't care whether they're an archangel, that just means they help us to connect. That's why there's arch before the angel. That means they help to build bridges between ego and soul and heaven and earth. So they don't care whether it's a tree angel or a dolphin or a whale or your Labrador retriever. What they want us to know is that angels are here to help us so that we don't feel we're alone, and so that we can wake up to our divinity, because we all are as beautiful as angels.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. And why do you think right now in this time-space reality on the earth plane that people have gotten away from it? There was a time, and forgive me, but angels were in vogue in the 80s.
Yes.
They were so, you couldn't pick up a book without being embraced by an angel, slapped by an angel, healed by an angel. And then that went out of the publishing world. But why do you think we have long forgotten now, especially with all the conflict on the planet today, just to tune back into our angels?
I really believe it's about safety, and that right now human beings aren't feeling safe.
That's true.
And they're not feeling safe because of the illusion of separation between the human being and our creator. Mother, Father, God is what I call our creator. But what I want to say, and this is from the 12 Archangels, is that what's happening on our planet is a purging of old fear, a purging of old deception and lies and deception. So as it's purged, it's like they want us to realize that it's like the human being, if you think of all of us as one body, the corporal body, it's purging its subconscious. And that's what's happening. So it looks like it's new fear. It's actually old fear.
Yeah.
And so, we're all waking up more and more every day. And what that means is we really are letting the love, the light flow in where it has been missing for a long time. Light can't reach the deepest caverns if they're all sealed off. So guess what? We've got to have these eruptions. They're not pleasant, but then the love can go in, just like a wound that is festering, right? That's deep festering wound. Not to be, I was a biologist, it's got to kind of erupt so that the oxygen can go in and the healing can heal the wound. And that's what's going on.
Well,
So we haven't lost our angels.
Well, I was going to say, I know in 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended and everybody thought the world was going to end, but it actually was a new beginning for, our universe. I mean,
and the veil dropping between worlds.
And I think that's why I think there's a lot of disruption in the world, because people are starting to ask questions and starting to open up their minds and seeing what's on the other side of the realms, and I think there's a lot of people set in their ways, and it's the fighting back and forth, and I think people like yourself can help a lot of people work through that and find their way to the not other side, but to help see the vision through the veil, and see the beauty, what's awaiting for us. And I think this is what you're here. I don't know. This is what just popped in my head, that what you're here to do.
Well, we're all here to do that. You do that, Tony. You work a lot more incognito than you want people to know about, but you are definitely a powerful love generator, and you have a very important mission. And of course, all of the guides and angels are very important to you and value you greatly in what you do every day, whether you fess up or not. It's kind of like and of course, with what Eddie does, he's has no choice but to say, I am completely transparent, so that I can reflect yourself back to you when you look at me. That's just the role that he plays. But we're all in it together.
Well, so for people like myself that, I like I said, since I met Eddie was really kind of my doorway to this, the belief in myself of knowing that I was a, what is it called when you feel other people's feelings?
Clairsentient.
Empath.
Yeah. Empath. So, I mean, because as a kid, I was always like, what did I do wrong? It's my fault if it wasn't for me. And then realize it wasn't me at all. It was just me picking up those feelings and patterns of other people. But but the people out there that are listening that may have not realized their gifts and abilities yet, what can we do to start healing a lot of hurt and that past family pain and what pain from others that have that kind of like a life jacket, not even like more of a straight jacket over us that has kind of affected us in our everyday life? How can we start, removing those layers and seeing who we are and start living a better life?
So what the 12 archangels teach is to find that child within us, because the child within us knows what is ready to be healed, knows what is ready to be transformed. And then whatever those memories are that are ready or are up, I call it, when a kitty cat, wants to cough up a fur ball. That's what we do when we're ready to clear an old belief system or old hurt. And so what the angel teaches, work with those memories of spiritual energy that you're blessed to have, called the chakras. And be as the little child, imagine those colors, work with that energy, and you're going to feel the vibration, you're going to feel the healing. So, for example, we can just go walk in a violet purple rain shower and ask for all of the hurt memories that we're thinking of in our minds to just be transformed. Because the violet fire, the energy in our crown chakra, is also the energy of forgiveness. And forgiveness is a power of love that truly is the most potent healer. If we want to experience healing quickly, we'll do that through forgiveness. Forgiveness as an energy and as a power, because we can't forgive something lots of times just consciously, because we would have forgiven it if we could forgive it. So that's, again, when we put it in that color purple and we visualize just violet fire. And the angels say, if you don't imagine colors, it's not a big deal. Just use your intention. However, the more we work with that child within us, through even starting with a photograph of ourselves as a kid, that creative, imaginative hemisphere in our brains is going to start to wake up. And that's the part of our brains that sees images and sees in colors and lets the intuition flow through and actually works to help us to remember what we came here to do and what we need to heal. Wow. So that was a lot of information that came really quick, so I hope that made sense.
You did. You gave us the Reader's Digest condensed version of the universe and the earth plane combined as one in a wonderful soundbite. So thank you, Belinda. And we have about 7 minutes left. Is that enough time to ask you if you would be open as the spiritual messenger to send something out to the audience?
Sure, of course. So if you and Tony can give the angels something that you would like them to address, what do you feel from knowing your audience or just when you tune in, what would you like them to address?
Something you said earlier sparked a big thing when you were speaking about Michael, Archangel Michael, being about truth, awareness, and courage, and how he's similar to the planet Saturn. And where we're at right now in the United States, the world too, but the United States is just waking up to truths behind the curtain. They're waking up to having to use courage to stand up to the truth that they're finding out about, especially during this election. And so I feel like, Tony, tell me how you feel about this. Anything to continue perpetuating the truth, the courage, and the love as we transform through this next 10-year cycle on the earth plane and beyond.
Okay. Does that work for you, Tony?
That sounds amazing. That's great. That's great.
Okay, so I bring through the 12 archangels as, again, they're going to come in one voice. So here we go.
Thank you.
We thank you for being brave and courageous yourselves. And we say to you, Eddie and Tony, that you are examples of human beings that are brave and courageous. So look at yourselves. If you want to know what's going to happen in the next 10 years, people are waking up and it cannot be stopped. And so you will have more brothers and more sisters that you can connect with that feel safe and familiar. You see, it is in the DNA of all people to remember that they are God's divine children. It is within themselves, within their molecules, to remember that peace works much better than violence. It's the role of the 12 archangels, along with all of the beings of love and light in heaven. And that means all of the ancestors of everyone that lives on the planet. It is our job to ring little bells that wake up those molecules, that wake up that DNA and say, let's choose love now. Let's wake up to what we are doing. Let's become conscious that we have choice and that fear, greed, and oppression, it's boring. The way to reach humanity is to get them very bored. That is when they want to change. Now, in the United States, we must say to you, the United States has always resonated at a bit of a higher vibration on your planet. This is a planet where there are different vibrations that can resonate. In heaven, there is love. So with a higher consciousness, and what we mean by higher consciousness is more of the love vibration or of that frequency. Because you have that here in the United States, the I am America, I am freedom is what the name of your country means. It is resonating throughout the entire planet. So within your country, you have all countries, as you know. It is a melting pot. So what is happening in your country, it is happening all over the world. And so with the higher consciousness here, especially within those human beings who embrace, who are willing to do the depths of transformation within themselves, you know, this is how you help the world and this is how you help your country. Oh, our feeling is, and we laugh with you, that you are concerned or there's a question about the election. And we say, we are the mentors of Soul on Earth. We are guiding you. We are walking with you. There's a whole incredible, wonderful governance that helps you go through all of the classes, all of the lessons, all of the grades. You don't need to worry about your president. We have a pretty good idea that you know who will be president as the feminine energy grows stronger and stronger and stronger to balance the masculine. The old male paradigm is dissolving because it is time for it to dissolve. And the old male just means control, it means separation, separation between human and creator, separation between human being, and between ego and heart. That is dissolving as the divine feminine comes in, and the divine feminine only comes with the divine masculine. For God, the creator, is both female and male, feminine and masculine, sound and light, light and sound. So what we say to you is celebrate, celebrate every day, celebrate the awakening, celebrate the joy, and walk in gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude. Love the child within you as God loves you, and watch, enjoy. The schoolroom earth transforms into something better and better every day. We are with you always. We are the 12 Archangels.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Belinda Womack. The title of her book is Lessons from the 12 Archangels, Divine Intervention in Daily Life. And if that did not give you a psychic B12 shot to your soul, child, I don't know what else will. Thank you, Belinda.
Wow,
that was
Belinda.
absolutely beautiful.
I don't know if I should applaud or bow. I don't know.
You do both.
Okay, there we go. There you go.
Yeah.
And we thank you, and we thank the Archangels for coming through and speaking with us. And again, we definitely will have you back, to truth be told, because this is what we need.
Yes.
This is what we want. And I think people not just need it, we want it.
And desire it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for taking the time and energy to putting yourself out there, because I know it takes a lot for someone to expose everything about who they are to the world. And so please accept our invitation of coming back, and we hope everybody goes out and gets the book. And we thank you so much for being on Truth Be Told.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Have a great day.
All
Have
right.
a great weekend.
Yes, have a great weekend. All right, we'll talk to you later, Belinda.
Bye,
Talk
Belinda.
to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, my goodness,
I
Eddie.
know. So happy right now. I feel blissitude.
I do. I feel like, well, I'm not going to say what I feel like, but, well, it could be naughty. But, you know.
Well, that's because it's love.
Yeah.
Love opens that.
Yeah. It's like I need a cigarette right afterwards.
Really, I can't even imagine you.
Well, not a cigarette. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Afterglow.
That-
It was
right.
Afterglow. That's what this is. We're literally in the Belinda Womack Afterglow.
And we hope that you will enjoy this too. If you tuned in halfway through, need to hear it again, and like I said, need to hear this again, definitely go to our YouTube channel at Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. Check out all of our YouTube's videos, and check out our website, truthbetoldwebtv.com. Check out all of our upcoming guests. Oh my God, we have some great guests coming up. Next week, Eddie and another psychic is going to be doing a psychic roundtable.
Yeah,
I
we're
guess?
doing the Psychic Guy Squad.
Guy Squad. So
Yeah.
if you guys want a psychic reading, make sure you get your questions ready and come back in next week, Friday at 4 to 6 p.m.
Yep.
And we're going to live stream on our Facebook, live stream through UBN Radio. We might even Periscope. And
Some of it, yeah. That'll be fun because Psychic Dave I started at a station a long time ago. That's where I met Tony, and Psychic Dave and I co-hosted together for a long time. And so when Psychic Dave and I get together and Tony and I get together, we're just like triple threat. It's crazy.
It's going to be fun.
We have so much fun. And David,
Should we bring
Dave
snacks?
is like this. Yeah, let's do snacks.
Yeah. Like celery or something?
No, snacks. Who the hell's wanting celery?
All right.
Bring a sirloin steak.
Ooh, that sounds not
Yeah.
good. I actually don't like sirloin steak. I don't like steak. But, yeah. I don't eat red meat.
Let's end on a high note.
Yeah. Is that better? All right, we're out of here. And we thank Belinda for being on the show. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Good.
Here we are.
Bye.
Bye.